row tonight. Tonight, you guys know we're going to be discussing domestic violence. Tonight, our guest, Mama Judy, is going to tell her story. She's going to share with us the deepest, most hurtful things about being affected by domestic violence and how to come out of it. So, we are so happy to have you tonight, Mama Judy.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Now, I will be doing hair tonight, guys. I ran a little over in the salon, but the show keeps rolling.
There you go.
Mama Judy,
Yeah.
my first question tonight is, how long were you in a domestic violence situation? How long did that situation actually last?
Well, it started when I was 16.
16? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it started when I was 16.
And how old were you when you came out of that relationship?
I was in my 40s.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so that's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you initially went into this relationship, did you see any signs of domestic violence?
No.
Tell me about when you first met him.
Well, we met when I was 16, and everything was perfect. Then I got pregnant. When I got pregnant, my mother made me get married, and we moved in with his family. Right after that, that's when the domestic violence started.
Make sure you speak so everybody can hear you.
That's
too.
when the domestic violence started. That's when he wanted to push me, hit me, listen to what other people say that I did this and I did that. So that's when it started, when I was 16.
Okay, question. Do you remember the very first situation when he got violent with you?
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that.
He pushed me up a flight of stairs.
What caused him to do that, though? I kind of want to know the whole situation.
Well, what happens that he wanted me to be around him at all times. He had a sister that lived like 2 doors away. So I went to his sister's house and we sit on the porch talking. But he wanted me to come back down in the yard and sit in the yard and talk to him. So that's when he pushed me up those stairs and I fell.
He pushed you up the steps and you fell.
Pushed me up the steps and I fell.
Were you shocked?
No, I wasn't shocked. I was mad.
So what did you do? Did you fight him back?
I hit him with a food chopper.
Oh my God.
I ended up hitting him with a food chopper and I busted his head open.
Okay, so did he have to go to the hospital or
He
anything?
certainly did.
Okay, so the first time he hit you, it caused you to be violent with him as well.
When he pushed me, yeah. Because I asked him to stop pushing me. You know, nobody likes to be pushed.
No, don't touch me.
No, nobody wants to be
You
pushed.
touch me.
So when he pushed me, that's when I had had enough of just, you know, pushing me and making me come down the yard. You know, he became like he was my father. You know, and I couldn't deal with it.
So for women that are dealing with men that act like their dads and are very controlling, you would say that's something to watch out for.
I would say when you meet somebody that's jealous, when you meet somebody and they start being jealous of you and don't want you to go nowhere, don't want you to do anything, that's a bad sign. So you need to start looking out for yourself at that time.
Okay, now another question I have. When you and him got into that first fight and you bust his head open, and what made you stay with him after that? Like, did you ever think that you should leave him alone?
Well, at the time, I couldn't go home to my mother, and I had nowhere else to go. So I just had to stay for a while until I found somewhere else to go. I eventually found somewhere else to go, and I left.
Wow, so I think that a lot of women now, I hear that from a lot of women that I know that have been in domestic situations. I'm like, girl, he just blocked your eye.
Mm-hmm.
And she be like, I don't have nowhere else to go. And now, do you know of any places that you would recommend? Like, if it's anybody watching right now that's staying with somebody that's blocking their eye and beating them and physically abusing them, would you tell them to stay there until they find somewhere to go?
No. And this time, these are times when somebody do that to you, just leave. Find somewhere else to go. I don't care if your sister, your brother, your friend leave,
Yeah.
and then go to the police and get a police report on it, so they can't come near you again. But leave.
Okay, question. I know the first time that he hit you, he kind of pushed you up the steps.
Hmm.
Did the fights get worse?
Well, after that one, he didn't do anything else to me anymore. After I hit him with that food chopper, that was it for him.
That was it?
He never hit me or touched me again. He had been pushing me and.
So
for a while.
before you hit
Yeah,
him with the
yeah.
food chopper, he had
had
been being abusive.
Yes, he was abusive.
So what kind of things would he do besides pushing you up the steps?
Well, he really.
Like what time? When has he really? I want to hear like the worst incident y'all ever had.
That was the worst. That was the worst incident. Before that, all he would do is push me, make me come down and sit in the yard, stay on the porch, don't go anywhere, you can't go nowhere without me. That led up to me hitting him with the food jet. That's when I fought back.
So what would he do? Like when you got dressed, you a real pretty lady.
Mhm.
So I know he would be jealous when you went out. When you would get dressed and things like that, what would he do? Would he try to make you not look pretty or say you were ugly? Tell me more
No,
about that.
he didn't tell me I was ugly, but he just didn't tell me not to go. And
He
you
didn't
know,
just tell you not to go?
well, you know, when somebody in a tone, you know, people talks in different tones. So when he said in that tone, then I said, well, I guess I know it's going to be start an argument or confusion, so I just wouldn't go.
So you stopped going places that you wanted to go
Yes.
because he didn't want you to.
Yes, because you knew. At the time when you don't know where you're going to go, you don't know how you're going to make it, you're not working, so you have no money, you have nowhere else to go. So you take that abuse.
You think you stayed because you
Yeah.
ain't had no money?
I had no money.
You
I
didn't
had-
have any family? Did your family know what was happening?
Yes, but like I said, when my mother found out I was pregnant, she made me get married, and
She
that's
made
what
you get
happened.
married.
She made me I got married at 16.
Do you think times you got married at 16?
Mhm.
Was it legal then?
Yeah. I was
So
married at 16.
do you think like now times have changed a
Oh,
lot?
of course they have. You don't have to go through that foolishness.
So your mother made you get married to a man that was terrible to you
Yeah.
just because you was pregnant.
But see, she didn't see that side of him, nor did I. That side of him didn't show until after we were married.
That's scary.
Yes, it is.
Cause you in love with somebody
Yeah.
and you think y'all about to have a good relationship. Hey Tia, thanks for joining sis. Y'all Tia be on here soon telling her story.
All right.
But my thing is nowadays listening to somebody 16-year-old get pregnant, the only person I think she marrying is R. Kelly.
Yes. Yeah.
Shots.
Really.
No, but seriously. So you with this man, y'all in love, y'all having a good relationship, and he just started getting controlling. Like, why do you think he was controlling?
I think that because other people.
You think it was your fault?
No, it wasn't my fault. It was because other people started paying attention to me.
What
So-
you mean paying attention to you?
You know how men will look at you and
Hey,
say
Cece.
little different things to you. So he became jealous. That's where it all started, when he started getting very jealous.
Why do men get jealous though? Like, what are they jealous of? I don't understand.
I think most men on something, if you're a nice looking woman and they think that someone else is going to say something to you or talk to you, that's when they start getting jealous of you.
I think it's because they insecure.
Well, that's totally what it is, because it's not you who's insecure. You can't help the way you look.
Yeah, because you sure can't tell me
You
what
know,
to do.
you can't help the way you look, and you can't control them, but what you have to do. I think the best thing, when that happens, I think the best thing is to get out of the situation. When you start seeing a person being jealous, don't hang around and say, oh, he's going to get better, because I thought that too. Oh, no, they don't get better, they get worse.
This is my thing. Somebody slap your face numb and you just standing there talking about this gonna get better. I think a lot of women don't realize it. I think when women are in it, I think they really don't think
They
that
don't.
the guy is that bad because they love
don't.
him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
and for real, they don't. They don't think that, they you know, you have a way of thinking that the person's going to change. You know, most women think that the person they're with is going to change.
so what did you used to say to him? Like when he put his hands on you, or when he acted crazy, like, did y'all used to drink while this was happening?
No.
Did you notice he was like that when he was drunk?
No, I didn't drink when I was 16.
You didn't drink.
I didn't drink. But
Did he used to hit you while you was pregnant?
no, I just think that he didn't hit me. He used to push me. He had a habit of pushing me,
Okay.
and I got tired of him pushing me.
So when somebody just starting off just pushing you, you like, that's leading to something.
Yeah, you know it's leading to something. When somebody started saying all kinds of different things to you, you know, when you got somebody and all of a sudden they were real sweet to you, and then all of a sudden they start saying different things to you, you know that's a bad sign. So you don't hang around for that, you know?
Did he drink?
Yes.
So Brother Greg asked, he said, did the man drink?
Yes.
So
Yes.
do you think that made a big difference?
Yes.
Because
it
when
did.
men be
Yeah.
drinking, when anybody drinks, it gets kind of out of control.
Yes, it does.
So tell me about, because I want us to get the juice, Mom. We got
Yeah.
to get juicy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We dry.
Yeah.
Now look.
That's just on him.
But look, that matters, and I want you to tell us details about that. Tell me about days when he came in the house and he was sober and you saw him starting to drink. Tell me how he changed and how things was more likely to happen when he was drunk.
Well, when he started drinking, his whole attitude changed. And it's
How? Like, what would he
well,
do?
he would say, don't do this and don't do that. I want you to stay on the porch. I don't want to go. He became like my father.
I want you to stay on the porch.
He started thinking that I was some little girl and he was my father. Stay on the porch. Don't go off the porch.
At first, though, be honest. At first, because I have seen this. At first, when he started telling you what to do, did it make you feel like you was loved a little bit? Like it was cute at first?
No, I didn't think it was cute. I didn't think it was love. I just got to the point.
Thanks, bro.
I actually got mad. I got mad because I'm like, oh man, here I am in a situation that I can't get out of right now because I have nowhere else to go. I have no job. Nobody else will take me in.
That's crazy to me, though. You got this man putting his hands on you.
But you got to remember, when I was 16, that's a long, long time ago. So when you got long time ago, it's a whole different from what it is now.
So now, like, from speaking from your perspective, looking at women who are stuck in domestic violence situations now, like, why do you think they stay when there's so many places to go?
Because I think women.
I really can't understand
Because
that.
I think
Mom,
women,
somebody hit me, I'm gonna bust him in his head.
because I think that women think that the person is going to change. A lot of times they think that's love.
Why do you think they think that's love?
You hear it all the time. Well, he really loved me. He didn't mean to do that. He was just mad. So that's why he did that. But it's not. No. I don't care how mad you get. There's no reason for nobody to put their hands on another person.
That's crazy.
That's not love. When somebody hit you and started verbal abusing you, it's not love. When a person is very jealous of you, don't want you to do nothing, don't want you to go nowhere, you can't talk to nobody, that is not love. You're setting yourself up for a real situation.
I just don't think, and you know what though? Do you think that sometimes men hit women and they really don't mean to? Like they really got a problem?
No, if you hit them, you meant to hit them.
Cause sometimes I don't know. Like
If a man start hitting you, it's because that's what he wants to do.
what? Okay, question, and y'all can chime in on this if you want. What about a man who was raised in a household where he saw his mother getting beat?
I think in this household, it was his brothers. Because his brothers had girlfriends and they would abuse them. So my ex-in-laws, the women always seemed to get abused by his brothers. Because his brother was exactly the way he was. They all were abusive to the women that they were married to.
I think that, well, Cece, thank you for chiming in. Cece said that they stay because they in love.
Some women do.
I just, oh, go ahead. No,
I think sometimes it's they're in love, and other times it's something that's broken in them or something that's not healed in them that allows them to not understand their full worth and stay in a situation that is harmful because they don't necessarily always recognize that they deserve better. And then there is the financial piece, like Mama Judy was saying, about not necessarily having the resources to go somewhere else or to do anything else. There are a whole slew of reasons that women stay. And definitely, you know, sometimes it is feeling, especially if you've grown up in a relationship where you didn't feel valued or where you felt abandoned by a parent, and then you have this person who claims to love you, and they're showing it in this harmful way, but it may be the only time anyone has shown them any attention.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to be a little transparent because y'all know I'm a little tricky with my business. But I have been in a domestic violence relationship before. And when I was in that relationship, I really thought that I deserved it. I never looked at it like, because I grew up in a household where my dad was militant. It was just me and my dad. So I got slapped for everything. And it wasn't uncommon for my dad to slap blood from my mouth. It was not uncommon. And see, sometimes with men, right? Men, if they don't have a woman in the house to say, okay, you being too hard on road, or you shouldn't do that, I don't think my dad meant no harm. I really think that's all he knew. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he thought he didn't want me. My mom was in the streets. So I think my father saw it like, I'm going to beat this out of her. You know, every time I did something that reminded him of my mom,
You take it out on you.
oh man, because my mother was in these streets. He was not trying to have it. And I mean, seriously, like, if I didn't, you know, I guess I dealt with not domestic violence, but I did deal with abuse physically. You know, if I didn't make my bed, my father was like, you sleeping on the floor. Most kids didn't have that extreme, you know, discipline. But guess what? From me being raised like that, in my relationships, when I was a teenager with men, my dad died when I was 14. In my relationships with men, I would be the one being violent. I started drinking when I was a teenager, and it was not uncommon for me to haul off and slap a man right in his face, especially if I was drinking. So what do y'all think about the women that got problems with their hands? And I know that it's true because I used to be that woman.
Oh, I've seen women being abusive to their husband too.
Yeah.
To the point that they would call the police.
Yeah, because the men don't want to hit them.
They were scared, and sometimes they were just scared of the person, scared of the wife or whoever she was.
They were scared.
They were scared. Yeah, because they were the wife.
About to get it in.
She will fight them, and just like men would say, "Don't you do this," she would tell them that. And they said, "Don't." She said, "Don't go out this house. You're not going to the club or whatever with your friends," and he wouldn't go.
Because he didn't want to deal with her.
Yeah, he didn't want to deal with her. He was scared of her as women be scared of men.
Yep.
That's a true statement.
It's true. Domestic violence is not just men beating on women.
It's women.
It happens.
Women.
Women do crazy stuff to men,
Yes,
and then
do.
they lie to the police and acting all crazy. Like I said, when I used to drink, I would slap a man quick. And then I got myself into situations where I got slapped back. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do, but yeah, but let me see, y'all. We got some feedback. Sister Cece said, I stuck around longer than I should have because of love, trying to keep the family together. And for a while, I wasn't sure that anyone else would love me. Then I woke up. That is for real.
Yes.
You don't.
Yes.
Why do we
Yes.
do that?
I don't know.
You just don't be thinking that somebody else, you scared to miss the bus you on.
Yes.
Because you like, what if nobody else come along? I know I used to think like that. You know, when you really don't see yourself how you are, you know, as beautiful, or even if you do, you just want somebody right now. When you trying to fill a void, all you can think about is, I'm going to be sleeping here by myself tonight. You know, it sounds stupid, but it's true.
That is true.
And it goes back to like unresolved issues or feelings of hurt or feeling adequate. You know, for me, a reason I stayed as long as I did is one, I felt needed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you've experienced abandonment or what feels like abandonment, and there's someone who tells you that they need you,
Yes.
you feel value, like you
They
need
will
me,
pop
so I'm
off,
gonna
Yeah.
and then when you
Yeah.
about to leave, they do.
Yes,
That I was
they do.
I
good.
need
They be
you.
like, baby, I need you,
Right.
and then you be feeling all love.
And then
Right.
they're,
Like you're saving my life.
and they're crying.
Mm-hmm.
They sitting up crying, saying, "Don't go, don't leave me. You know, just stay. I won't do it again."
Or put on that slow jam.
they always tell you they won't do it again
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
until the next time they
It
get the
happens.
drinking.
Done again.
They
And
will
it's
do
a
it
cycle.
again.
Then it's a
They
cycle.
they will do it again.
Right. And so again, it's incumbent upon the person being abused, not to say that it's ever the victim's fault, but it's incumbent upon those of us who have been abused to do the work to understand, what am I missing that's allowing me to be accepting of this behavior?
Mhm.
And when
Yes.
we understand what that is, we're more free to move out of that space.
Yes. Yes.
That's true though, because when you sitting there and you letting somebody beat on you, I think it takes people a long time before they realize it's something wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
I think people don't want to look at themselves and say that, you know, you got this person beating on you, but yeah, what's making me stay?
Yes.
Like, I'm worth more. And y'all, how old would y'all say y'all were when you truly recognized your worth as a woman? Because at 16 years old, I did not see anything that people saw in me. I just didn't even think about it like that. I was just wild and crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think
I was in my 30s when I really realized it, because it seemed like everybody that I talked to, they'd be nice to me at first, and then all of a sudden they become jealous and become abusive. You know, so that wasn't just the first person that did that to me.
Well, Mom
You
Judy, they do say you attract certain
Yeah.
things for a reason. So, do you think that women can attract a certain kind of man, or men can see when they could play with a certain kind of woman?
I do think that women, for me, I seem to attract the men that was jealous.
Why do you think you attracted that kind of man, though?
I don't know why, because in the beginning they weren't like that. They didn't act like they were jealous.
Shoot, you
But
don't
once,
see a lot of stuff.
but once you whip them, and they know that you whipped them, then the whole story change. They change up quickly. They don't want you to do nothing. They don't want you to talk to nobody. They don't want you to go nowhere. So it happens throughout most of the relationships I was in. This is what happened
Yeah,
to me.
and you know, I know what that's all about, because everybody know how I work.
Yeah.
I'm a businesswoman, and
Yeah.
I ain't got time to be up and laying around and
Yeah.
all of this.
Yeah.
Look, I got to go to work, boo, and I got a busy schedule. And a lot of times when I would have situations, guys would think I was cheating because
Yes.
I always had other things to do, you know, other responsibilities. But I wonder why women attract certain things. When I used to work in the barbershop, I worked in the barbershop for 13 years,
Mhm.
and I was the only woman in it for a long time.
Mhm.
And I just would watch them, and I learned so much. And they knew it when women were coming in, like with their sons and stuff like that. They would know who they could go with. And they would do what they said they was setting out to do. They would look at a woman, say one or two, call her pretty.
Mhm.
She'd walk out switching,
Mhm.
and he'd come back on Monday and tell me how he been in that bed.
That's yeah.
It's like they knew exactly what women to pick, and it would be some of the baddest women. I'd be like, no, you didn't do that to her. And he'd be like, yes, I did. And it's crazy. You know, I just don't know what makes us attract them kind of things. I just wonder what's inside. It's like a magnet.
Yes.
It's like your heart, when it's not healed, it automatically attracts certain things.
And
I'm moving on your head.
And it's so funny, because every woman,
We gotta
all
look
women don't attract the same kind of man. Some women attract the nicest guys, and that's the way they be.
And look,
But
though,
then you
sometimes women attract the nice guys and they be dogs.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
just like, is it a science to this? Is it something to this? Or is it just coincidence? I mean, it's just
I
weird.
think sometimes men
How do you pick?
don't want to be with one person. You know, sometimes that can be a problem. They want to be with other people.
And still keep that one though.
And still keep you along. So that's how that go too.
Hold up, y'all. We got some questions. Right, Shakira. Shakira says she's 34 and she just starting to realize her worth. I'm 36. Am I 36 yet? That's crazy. Right.
I was in my 30s when I started realizing that.
mid-30s.
Yeah, but okay, but do y'all see a difference though? Like I know for me, y'all already married, but for me, I noticed that certain dudes that would have tried to talk to me before, they just don't even come now. Or if they say something to me, like if somebody walk up to me now and say, "What's up, shawty?" I be looking like, who are you talking to? It can't be me. Yeah, but we got a little away from the topic. But when it comes to a man putting his hands on you, I just don't think it's no reason to stay. But it is sad. Like, I just wonder how we can educate women that have been in crazy situations that don't really know better. You know, like I didn't know better. You know, like my father loved me and he was physical. So I just
But some women know better and they still stay, you know? And I guess maybe sometimes they feel that that person need them to stay with them. Because a lot of times, once you tell a man that you're leaving or you try to leave, they become a whole different person. But it's like women too. Women who physically hit men, once a man says, look, I'm tired of this, you know, I got to go. And when they leave, it's the same thing. Then she turns around and
trying to keep him and hold on to him.
Please don't leave me. I won't do it no more.
Yes,
you know?
will.
And yes, you will. Because if you do it one time, I guarantee you, they're going to do it again.
When you met your husband that you with now, like since you had been in an abusive relationship before, did you set different kind of boundaries for him?
Well, with him, when I met him, this is the funniest thing. But let me tell you, when I met him, we met at a place called the House of Secrets.
What?
The House of Secrets.
What you doing in the House of
Let me
Secrets?
tell you about the House of Secrets. The House of Secrets was a big house that had like 3 floors, and the 3 floors one had jazz, one had just a lounge, and one had people where they played games, whatever. So when
Now, Mom, downstairs you told us you don't keep no secrets.
Well,
what you doing in the House of
That's the name
Secrets?
of the house, called the House of Secrets. So that's how we met.
Okay.
But when the next day when he wanted to come over to see me, I slung my door open, wide, and I said to him,
Oh my gosh.
do you see anything in here that you want to take? I said, if you see anything you want to take, then I suggest you take it now. I said, and then if you think you come in here for you know what, that is not what's going to happen.
What's the you know what? Sight.
Well, yeah. I said, if that's what your motive was, then you can leave now. He never left from that day.
What?
He never left me from that day.
Okay, Mom, we can't tell your story because we do not try that at all. Okay.
I've been with him for 25 years now. He never left from the day he came over. And
Are you serious?
we never went out with anybody else after that.
Wow.
We both stayed together.
Now that's a rare love story right there. God.
We both stayed together, and we still.
I know I wouldn't work like that because look, I'm sizing dudes up. I already got like rules and carrying on. I'm like, look, the first 3 days I'm checking you out.
Well, see, he
Don't
knew
change
when
me,
I
gonna
when
meet
I
up,
opened the
I'll
doors.
ride.
I guess when I opened that door, swung it open, because by that time I had become. You know what? When men abuse you, after a while you become bitter. You become very bitter.
What's
you become
bitter?
Mean. You become
I'm saying
mean.
for people that don't know.
You become very mean.
What you mean?
And
Like how you
If
act?
somebody say, "Hey sister, what's your name? Why you want to know who my
Oh,
name?"
I've been there. I've been bitter.
Don't ask me my name. You know.
Been
And
there.
I don't really want to talk to you. You become very bitter, and you don't want to be bothered, and you don't trust anybody anymore. You get to the point where you don't trust people, you know.
Yep. I
So
know.
if they come to you like that, then you're like, I don't have no time for this. I did not have any more time for any more shenanigans. I didn't want nobody to say anything to me.
Shenanigans.
That's right. I didn't want you to talk to me.
Hey, Lori.
All I wanted to do was to go party and dance. That's
And
all
have
I did.
and have a good time.
When I got from underneath the people who were keeping me from going out. When I found out that you could party, oh my God, I went to party.
So, Ma, this is a question I have. Getting back to your guy.
Yes.
Now, you started dating this man when you were 16, and you didn't leave him till you was in your 40s.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I divorced him.
Okay, so how long were you with him?
About a year.
Oh, that's not long at all.
Not for him.
And did y'all have a baby together?
Yes, we had two.
So how did that work with the children? That
Well-
y'all had two in that little bit of time y'all was
Well, no.
My bad.
I was like a rabbit. Believe me. When they said rabbit multiply, I multiply. I was like a rabbit. We had two, but the second one died. So I only had that one.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But what I did to get out of that situation, I found me a job. I found the job. I left. I got my own space.
So you just kind of had your plan in the back of your head.
I knew what I was going to do because I knew that I was not going to stay in that type of situation. I wasn't used to nobody treat me that way. My mother didn't spank me. My father had left years ago. So
yeah, because you was 16.
Yeah,
you was young.
I wasn't used to nobody introduce me to the boxing ring.
But look, Ma, I got a question. Like now, people make it seem like it's so. It's not a good thing when people had kids when they 16 years old. I do not suggest that at all, or out of marriage. But back in the day, it seemed like y'all was really getting it in when you was young.
Yeah, because,
Like society have really changed.
well, you know, I think I met him when I was 15, and I just happened to get pregnant at 16. But back in those days, you know, things were totally different. You know, you could walk around the block and hold hands, and this was cool. Nobody bothered you. They said, "Look at the little lovebird," you know.
Really?
And, yeah, because it wasn't like it now. Walk around the corner now and hold hands and see what happened to you. You know, it's not like that. But
That's crazy.
and do you see anybody walking around the corner holding hands in your neighborhood?
No.
Okay, then. So now you know.
Gerald, what you mean by no therapy? Yep, you can bring that back across the screen, Gerald. Be more specific for me. But yeah, like back in the day, my grandmother was having kids when she was like 15, 16. And I think my grandmother had like 14 kids.
Oh, God, Jesus.
That's crazy.
That's really
Like-
wild.
She did. And she was a stay-at-home wife. And her and my grandfather used to throw those hands. They used to fight. They used to fight. And it affected their children.
Yes, it does.
It does, man. When kids are in crazy environments like that,
They think that's what they're supposed to do.
they think it's normal.
Yeah,
So
they
it's
think
like
they
once
think
you
that's what they're supposed to do.
desensitize, how do you guard yourself from that? It's just so crazy. And it's like, do you start training kids in school? Like, do you say, if you guys went through this, don't do that? You can't talk to kids about, you understand what I'm saying? How do you prevent it from going into adulthood? What age is it appropriate to start talking with people about stuff like this?
Well, you know, once you get out of an abusive relationship, and you have kids, they don't see that anymore. Some kids don't see that anymore.
Oh,
They don't see that.
Gerald said, you said you got a job to
Yeah.
get out of the situation.
Yes.
He said, was that like therapy for you?
No, it wasn't therapy for me. I wanted to go.
A resource.
I had to get up out of there. So I got a job, so I know I can. No, it wasn't. That was no therapy for me.
Gerald, she said that was an escape.
Yeah,
She
I had to go.
She said she was thinking she didn't have no money.
That's right.
You know, back in the day, you got a baby, don't come back home.
Yeah, and that's what happened. A lot of girls when they get pregnant, the parents won't let them come back in, so they have to find another way. And that's why I said some women stay with the people who are abusing them because they have nowhere else to go.
And that's crazy.
Yeah,
I think
but
now.
it's crazy to you now, but
Yes,
when you're 16, back in our day, in my day, when you're 16 and when I was 16, I had nowhere else to go. You know, you had no money. you had nobody to depend on. My mother would keep my son, but I had to go. I had to go get me a job. I couldn't take that anymore.
But nowadays, it's like when people have kids, parents are like inviting them to stay in. Come on, baby, let's throw a baby shower.
Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
And I wonder, does that have any? I noticed like when girls have babies very young, I notice sometimes, I'm not going to hit, look, I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings, but to me, it shouldn't be a big celebration. It shouldn't be, come on, I do understand everybody make mistakes, but come on now, we not about to be just housing you and the baby father up in here, and then next thing you know, it's baby number 2.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
I think that since you became a mother at such a young age, like if you could do it all over again, would you have waited longer?
I would have.
It seemed like it make you an adult when you had kids.
Yeah, I would have waited a little longer. But like I say, you don't know what you were stepping into, because you didn't know that this person was going to be abusive to you.
That's
you know?
and look though, did
And
the police?
Especially they didn't show no signs of it. You know,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Until after you got married to them.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
When you meet somebody and you do not see the signs, like, cause sometimes it's not signs.
There's no signs. Yeah.
Sometimes dudes know that they got abuse issues, and they will purposely butter you up. And it's just sad, because it's like, what is the guard? It's really no guard.
But see, we were young kids.
I pray, shoot. I'm like, God, show me.
See, we were just kids, you know. And, you know, when you got pregnant, you know, your mother wanted you out, because she already had 5 more girls.
To deal with.
She did not have time for you and your baby.
So you go over here and you talking to your mother about this dude putting his hands on you. And she like, well, going on home, baby, just be quiet.
She wouldn't, when my mother-in-law went to her and asked her, could I come back and stay with her? She said no.
She said no.
So my mother said, well, come home. She said, come with me and I'll take care of you. And that's what she did.
That's terrible. So did the police ever get involved? Or did neighbors ever know y'all was fighting?
Well, the police got involved when I busted his head open. They locked me up for a day.
All right, now can you tell us that story? I want to know that whole story. Tell me everything. Like when you busting.
The funniest thing.
No, when you bust, because I want to laugh too.
Well,
so when you bust him in the head, I want to know if he said ouch. I want to know if he cried. I want to know if you stood over him. I want to know who called the police. Everything.
Well, when I busted him in his head, I just walked past him, went back down to my sister-in-law's house, sat back up on the porch where I was, and the police came down there and said, we come to get Miss Mason. So we said, well, which Miss Mason? Because we were all Masons, so we want to know which one you're talking about. And when they said me, they said, well, you under arrest for deadly weapon.
You under arrest for possession of a deadly weapon.
You assault with a deadly weapon.
So when you bust the man upside his head, was he unconscious?
No, he just started pouring blood out of his head.
So what did he do?
He hollered. He hollered because I hit him so hard. He hollered, and he ended up going to the hospital because they had to stitch his head back.
You
up.
gonna leave the man sitting there leaking?
I walked right past him and went on back about my business.
When the police came looking for you, what did you do?
I asked him, which one were you talking about? I said, because we all there. So they said,
you asked him which one was you.
And when he said my name, I said, okay. So they took me down at this time called Women's Bureau. They took me down there.
Did they put handcuffs on you?
No, they took me down, put me in the back of the scout car, took me on down to the police station, and they wouldn't put me inside with the other women because they were in there. Oh wow, look at her. You know, I'm like, oh my God.
So you was looking good.
Yeah, so they wouldn't put me in with them. They kept me on the outside till my mother came down and got me. They only put me there till my mother came and got me.
So they didn't press charges or nothing?
No.
So did you go back to him after that day? Be honest.
I'm trying to think that if I did.
Yeah. Like, did y'all ever get back together?
No, we didn't. No.
Did he want to?
Yep, but I had to go. I couldn't take no more. I said,
so
no.
where was the baby?
With my mother-in-law.
Oh.
Yeah, she had a house full of grandkids, so she loved all the grandkids. So She just had another one to deal with till I could get, things got better. So she kept him.
I'm gonna tell you though, domestic violence is serious. Like I'm gonna tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know it was nice where I know I was covered because I should have been in way worse situations.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can remember being drunk nights with me and my ex, and we pulled guns out.
Oh, gosh.
That's how drunk we used to get though.
Oh, God.
Like a lot of times I notice alcohol goes hand in hand with domestic
Oh,
violence.
yeah.
For some reason, when you drink, it's like if I wasn't drinking, I could control myself. But when you start drinking and he done already made you mad,
So, yeah, it takes you out. It takes you to another zone.
it's like, it's true. They say when you drink, the truth comes out.
Mhm.
I really believe that.
Mhm.
I don't know what scientific evidence
But
supports
that's
that.
a true
But
thing.
when you drink, if you already pissed about
And
something,
mad,
man.
And I wasn't drinking. I was just mad because I didn't want to be pushed anymore. And I asked him nicely, "Don't push me." And that was a straw that broke the camel's back. Don't push me again.
Yeah, but you was just getting pushed. And that's still terrible. Like that's bad. But it's women. I remember times when I was black.
I had two black
I had
eyes
to
one
waste
time.
two
But
black-
not behind him before my second husband.
Really, they doing the heat.
I had two black eyes. And I worked at the bank. Can you imagine me having to go to work with two black eyes?
He blacked your eye.
He certainly two black eyes.
So how did he do that?
He pulled the top of my head and hit me in my head, and as the night went on, it drained down into your eye.
But see,
And I
this
ended
what I
up
want to
too.
know. This is what I'm asking you. This is what I need to know. What happened? What were y'all arguing about? What happened that caused him to black your eye? Like, I want to know what caused it. I know he didn't just, you right, Angie. Like, when I used to drink, girl, I would be the domestic violence person. I would be the one slapping men up. I'm telling you.
Well, I wasn't drinking. We went to, he was at the time was an insurance.
Don't forget they trying to.
Oh, he was an insurance agent, and the insurance company had a big party for the agent. So I was already mad with him about something, and he said something. They said, "Oh, he need to change his name." I said, "No, I need to change my name." And then we got home. He threw me up these stairs, and then he pulled me by the top of my head and pulled out a patch of my hair.
Oh my gosh.
And when he did that, he hit me in my head, and I ended up with two black eyes. Now, you talking about guns? Now, that's when the firearms came out. I told him, and y'all excuse me, but I said, Mr. MF. Those were my cussing days. I said, if you
She said she called him Mr. MF.
Yeah, I said, if you touch me again, then I will kill you. He never touched me again from that day on because he knew I was serious.
You think he knew you were serious?
He knew I was serious because I've had enough of him too.
Domestic violence, I have seen it at its finest though. I remember one night, I'm not going to say my aunt's name because I don't want to put her business out there, but my aunt and her last husband, they used to live in this little apartment, and I loved going over there on the weekends, right? And he used to drink a lot. She never was a big drinker. And he had been out. And she asked him where he was. He was a cop too. And she asked him where he had been. And I know me and my cousins was in the front playing the video game. We could hear them arguing in the back. But like I said, that wasn't nothing uncommon to us. When we was young, our family was hood.
Yeah, they just argued.
Right. Look, I'm going to tell you this. My aunt, she got the fussing back there. And my uncle tried to walk out that house. And let me tell you, shots fired.
Oh, God.
My aunt, I done seen some craziness. She started shooting up in there, and that could have easily went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Like them shots could have hit us.
Hit y'all.
It could, but see, people don't think like that when they in a relationship.
When they enraged.
I'm not sure nothing can get you as mad as when your significant other can. I mean, I know your kids can too. I get it, but it's a different kind of mad.
It's a different one. Yeah, your other can really get you mad about.
You gotta be careful.
They push buttons. You tell them to go here. You don't want to go
there.
into no arguments or whatever. Let's just leave this alone. But instead of them leaving it alone, they want to go over and over to the point that you get mad, and the next thing you know, y'all fighting, you know.
And it's crazy because a lot of people, I know I've had clients to be killed in domestic violence. I have seen it, and I know somebody that used to work with me, man, that killed their significant other. And I'm gonna tell you, you just don't see it coming all the time.
No.
And it comes, and that's why I tell women, watch out, because sometimes you push somebody's buttons and you underestimate what can happen. And that can really get you killed. Like, you gotta watch your mouth and learn how to control your anger.
I used to tell people, always expect the unexpected.
What you mean by that?
Because, like you said, you never know what's gonna happen. So you think things are this way, and really they're a whole different way. So when the unexpected shows up, you won't be surprised.
And people will do things, and to anybody that's in a relationship, you know, I tell people, control your anger, man. Try to really watch that, because sometimes people black out. I know people that have blacked out. When I would go to the prisons and talk to people, people would black out and say they couldn't even remember killing people.
Yeah.
Now that's real crazy.
Yeah. That's because you done pushed them to a point. It's like a point of no return.
Do y'all think that women sometimes do go over the top?
Yeah, they do.
Like, I see women sometimes going
they
over
go
the top,
and
they just. I'm not saying nobody deserved to get hurt, but I do think that sometimes women need to back up.
Yeah, they need to leave it alone.
You ever seen a woman that just annoy you? You be like, you always plucking that man nerves.
And sometimes they be.
Sit down.
Sometimes, you know, when you get a man that he can't go out in the yard without you asking him where he going. What's he doing?
And some women,
why you gonna do? Why you doing that? Why you looking over there? Why you talking to her? Sometimes those things can start a huge argument.
And I think men let stuff build up more. I don't think men always talk about it, so it's inside.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Men, to me, they don't want to argue.
No, they don't. A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't want to argue. A lot of them will avoid you before they be arguing. They will go somewhere else.
Yeah, men.
They go in another room.
Men will be like, "Go ahead, I don't want to talk
they go
about
in
it."
another room, and then you coming in there.
And then women sitting there. I have seen
coming in the
room.
The
woman sitting there drinking, and she want to come slapping all up on you.
Yeah.
And see, my grandmother. Now this is not right. I'm not saying nobody should do this. Hey, Devon. Hey, Devon knew my grandmother too. My grandmother used to tell people, she'd be like, "Look, if y'all hit my grandson, slap her back." And that is not good.
No.
You see, but this is sad, y'all, because I'm telling y'all what I have seen. My grandmother would be like, if she keeps slapping you, slap her back. And I don't think that's anything we should teach men.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But that's just what happens when you come from that. You see, and my brothers, they did just that. Man, I done seen my brothers pop some women. You know? I remember one girl slapped my brother. She slapped him right across his face, and he punched that girl. She hit that ground. I was scared for her. I was like, please.
Well, she shouldn't have done that. You know?
She still should. And this my thing. What is the defense for the guys when women keep hitting you? Because women can get treacherous.
Yes. Yeah. Leave. I would leave. Walk away. I would leave.
I'm a mother of boys. And I tell them, keep your hands to yourself. Don't put your hands on anybody, let alone a female. You most especially don't put your hands on a female. But at the end of the day, you're ultimately physically stronger than a female, and just in the way we raise them. Remove yourself from the situation.
Yes. That's the best
no
way
one
to
has, but I make it clear to them, no one has the right to put their hands on you.
Yeah.
A female does not have the right to put her hands on you, but that also doesn't give you the right to then turn around and hit them. Leave. Just remove yourself from the situation.
That's what I would do. I would just leave.
Yeah, because sometimes I have seen that. I'm like, what is the man's defense? I was talking to a father the other day, and he said that his son just got 2 years in jail because the girlfriend really instigated and caused the situation to escalate. And because it didn't go her way, the police got called, and that boy ended up getting a couple of years in prison because
it was her fault.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like guys are not protected like they should be. It's like, be for real, y'all. If I was a police wife and I got a call about domestic violence, when I pull up, if I see a tall dude and a short girl, my first thought is gonna be the dude hitting her, and that's natural.
That's always not
and
the
that's
case.
sad because a lot of times these women,
It's the women.
they are the ones sometimes, and I'm all down for the women, but a lot of times women be doing too much, and it's true. Men, I don't know. It's crazy.
Because sometimes men try to walk away.
Yep.
But the woman follow them. You know, she followed them. In pursuit, and they trying to walk away from the situation, but she won't let them. You know.
Yep. It's crazy.
So it's really wild.
It's just sad. And for what would you tell people right now if it's a woman watching right now and she is in a domestic violence situation? What would your advice be to her if she feels like she don't have no money and nowhere to go?
My advice right now is at some point find a way to get out. Don't stay there. Find a way. It's always a way to get out. You don't have to stay there and take all that. But I understand if you don't have money, you don't have any ways to go. I truly understand that. But put yourself in a position where you have money, and the first chance you get, leave. Don't stay there till you get so beat up.
Yeah, because I know
and
people,
you get hurt and don't stay there.
Until you killed.
Yeah, don't stay there.
Or somebody goes to jail.
Don't
you
stay
know,
there.
especially when you got liquor involved.
Yeah, and I
you
don't
sitting
care.
around drinking your problems
And you know,
away,
I don't
you
care
know,
how much you love the guy and how much you think he's gonna change, because once people get to a certain era, they do not change. That's a pattern, and they keep on doing it.
Yep.
So when you get to a certain point, try your best to find somewhere else to go, because nowadays they have places where you can go.
Well, what if she say that she leaving and he say, "Baby, I love you. We're gonna work through this."
We hear that all the time. You know, that's an all-time thing. They always tell you that. We're gonna work it out. I'm not gonna do this anymore. Then the first time y'all get into a big argument or whatever, the cycle starts all over again. And then you be saying, well, you told me you wasn't going to do that to me anymore. But they let you did.
I know whenever a dude put his hands on me, it never stopped. He
No,
never changed.
I'm telling you.
And when I
It
checked back in
doesn't
for
change.
him, he was whooping whoever he was
Yeah,
whooping.
it's not going to change.
It's
You know?
sad. And I will say this, guys, to anybody that's watching that might be going through that, or anybody that may watch this tomorrow, if you are going through a domestic violence situation and you don't have any help, or you feel like you don't have a way out, if you inbox me, just inbox me and let me know how I can get in contact with you, and I will reach out to you and make sure you get some help and make sure you get the resources you need, because that's a start. I just don't underestimate people being in these situations. If you need some help, or you need to talk, or you're not sure if you want to leave, I'm keeping it real. I know sometimes you love them. You can reach out, and if you don't want to be public about it, you can inbox me, and I will get you some help. But y'all, Miss Marjudy, I want to say thank you for joining the show tonight and sharing your story, boo. And I'm so glad that you are remarried and with a man that does not Ike Turner you.
We're not having that one.
Hello, yeah, you're not gonna have it again.
No.
And y'all, I want to thank everybody that tuned in. And Reverend Felicia, look, by chance, she ended up on the show tonight because I ran over on her head. I said, look, you going on this show tonight because we got to start. But I appreciate everybody that tuned in. And you guys, don't take domestic violence lightly, because it can lead to death. I want to say that as plain as possible. Don't stay in a situation because you feel like you're stuck, because it's always a way out. I'll see you guys next Wednesday at 8. Thanks for tuning in.